We are here in Yavne, Israel. It's not a site that's well known to tourists, but it's quite well known to the Jewish people because it was here, after the destruction of the temple in 70 AD, that Rabbinic Judaism was really created. And it's the Judaism that has lasted right through until this very day. Primarily, it is due to the life of a man named Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. If we go back in history, the city of Jerusalem, more specifically the Temple Mount, was being besieged by the Roman armies who had surrounded it. And the temple had been under siege, the city had been under siege, people had been starving. It was a horrible time. And Yochanan ben Zakkai did not believe that the Jewish people, the zealots, should have rebelled against Rome. He felt that that was a mistake, as did other rabbis, other Pharisees. And he knew Vespasian. This is quite phenomenal, who was general at the time, and later he predicted that Vespasian would become emperor. We know this according to the historian Flavius Josephus. And he asked if a rabbinic school could be established in the city of Yavne, and Vespasian granted him his request. Just before he made the request, he was actually smuggled out of Jerusalem in a casket. Well, it was here at Yavne that Yochanan ben Zakkai and other scholars, other rabbis, scribes, created really what is now known as Rabbinic Judaism, because you see, with the destruction of the temple, there was no way to carry on sacrifices, and so they had to, I don't know if it's too strong of a word to say, reinvent what Judaism was going to be. And so instead of sacrifice, there would be prayers and there would be good deeds. And later there was the work of preserving the oral law and eventually having it written down. From Yavne, this center of study, we could think even of the Sanhedrin, as it were, moved 6 different times until finally it landed in the city of Tiberias on the Sea of Galilee. But it's interesting that this expression of Judaism was preserved by the rabbis down to this very day through a man named Yochanan ben Zakkai, who was the direct student of Rabbi Gamliel, or we know him in English as Gamaliel, mentioned also in the Brit Hadashah, or the New Testament. And as you know, perhaps Gamaliel was also the rabbi of Shaul of Tarsus, that later we would know as Paul of Tarsus. So we have Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai and we have Shaul of Tarsus, really carving out 2 different expressions of Judaism, or what it would mean to be Jewish. And along with Shaul, we also had John. You remember James and John, sons of Zebedee. John was known at the time in his Hebrew name as Yochanan ben Zabbai. So we have Yochanan ben Zabbai and Yochanan ben Zakkai, 2 Jewish men with very different understandings of how Judaism would move forward in light of what befell the Jewish people in the 1st century. Let's take a walk.